You know, we only used to see those handshakes at the end of the series. We don't see them now.
I have never hugged so many Oilers in my life. This is ridiculous.
I don't know, I just watched that video. Was that National Hockey League hockey? Was that what that was? Timmy, what were you thinking?
Did we ever score a goal against the Oilers?
All right, hey, so Kevin, let me ask you. You were part of this. You came from Pittsburgh. You got involved in the Battle of Alberta. When you went to Calgary and played at the Saddle Dome and you knew you were going to play them, what'd you think?
Well, it was always going to be very difficult, facing this gentleman over here every night. Very tough customer. They always had a lot of tough guys, but we were always ready and had some good tilts. But we talked tonight earlier, and when that stuff's finished, we're doing a photo shoot in Calgary at the end of the year together, laughing about it. So it's all in fun.
So you're saying the fans are a little more vicious than the players were?
No, we got pretty vicious. There's some stuff. There was some stuff that was said, but we don't mention it now. But we had a great rivalry, and both of us. If you take a look at our noses, we weren't born with noses like that.
Mine's a lot straighter than yours.
So now, David, you came from Montreal, and you were here in '79. You're an Ontario boy. Did you have any clue when the battle started the next year in 1980, when the Flames moved from Atlanta, how vicious it was going to be?
Yeah, because I came in 1978 in the World Hockey, so there was a few fights back in them years, but I didn't realize, we had a lot of respect for the Calgary Flames. They were a great team, a great challenge, and we had a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun playing in them series when you go 7 games, and you may have some fights and a lot of fun doing it, and it was a battle. They had a great team. It should have been the finals. If it was the finals for overall, it would have been great to see.
I think there's a lot of people, Mac, that would suggest that between 1980, let's say 80, I know Denny Poffin's here, so from 1984 to 1990, the two best teams in the National Hockey League were in Calgary at Edmonton, and it was just, who would win what game.
Well, the sad part was they seemed to win a whole lot more than we did. But everyone forgets about the Winnipeg Jets, who had, I think, 5 years in a row where they had over 100 points, and they either had to face us or the Oilers, and unfortunately never won. But those were some of the greatest times. Everyone asked, do you know when you're playing the Oilers next? No, I have no idea. Are you kidding me? We had it blocked off on the calendar. Okay, boys, 10 days left. Here we go. Strap them on, because it's going to be a good one.
All right, so Lee.
And it was the greatest rivalry you could possibly imagine. If you couldn't get up for a game against the Oilers, then get the hell out of the game.
Okay, Lee, you were... give us a scouting report on those Flames forwards. When Slats was going through, or I guess it was Muckler doing all the strategy. When Muck was going through it all, who were you guys looking at?
Everybody. They were a very difficult team to play against, and I was talking to Timmy before the event here, and I said, you didn't take 10 seconds off thinking you were going to get anything easy when you played against the Flames, and it was a battle, and it was great to play, and I just loved playing against the Flames.
Could you play more than those 8 games a year?
I'm not sure about that, but I heard a funny story the other day. Every Friday, my wife makes pizza for us, and I go to the Italian store, and the manager at the Italian store came from Italy, and his wife-to-be was here already. So one night she said to him, come on, honey, let's go to the Oilers game. And this was back, 83 probably. And he said, okay, and he was used to soccer, he told me, and all of a sudden they're sitting there, and there's 10 seconds into the game, and an all-out brawl starts, right? And he looks at his wife-to-be, and he says, what's going on, honey? And she said, somebody hit Gretz. And he looked at her and goes, who's Gretz? And he said, I came from Italy, where all the fans fight and the players love each other. And I come over here, and he said, the players hate each other, and the fans love each other. I just don't get it.
So, Mike Vernon, you were a Calgary kid. Ladies and gentlemen, the first time Mike Vernon's received applause in Edmonton in his life.
And thank you.
You were a Calgary kid. How much more special was this rivalry for you than it would be for, say, a guy who came from Ontario or from the Maritimes?
Yeah. Well, it was very special. I was drafted by the Calgary Flames in 1980, and the Calgary Flames they moved from Atlanta to Calgary. So I got into it right away and played junior hockey in Calgary, and went to a lot of the games and watched the rivalry. And
well, you and Grant played junior hocky against each other.
yes, we did.
Wranglers versus Cougars,
Yeah,
right?
I've played a lot of hockey against Grant over the years. He's a great goaltender, and over the years, I was the type of guy that I love watching the other goaltenders, because I learned from watching them and trying some of the moves that they do and things like that. But my first game against the Edmonton Oilers, Don Edwards got pulled. Edmonton was on a 5-on-3. And I go in the net, and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? They scored 4 goals on me in 4 minutes. And this is the truth. Gretzky behind the net, out in front, Messier, bam. I'm like, oh boy, this is great. This is the NHL? I'll never play here. My goals against, and you can look it up, is 22.22 that year. I played 4 minutes.
I'm just glad it wasn't a contract year. That's all I know.
Me too.
Timmy, one quick thought on the great David Semenko.
Well, I lost my brother 3 years ago to cancer, so when Dave passed away, that day I shed a tear myself, and I spent the whole day talking to people, radio shows and everything about Dave and our battles and everything, but there was obvious mutual respect there. He taught me a lot about how to be a tough guy, how to protect your teammates, and those moments when some guy doesn't want to drop his gloves, when you have to persuade him into dropping his gloves. Dave was really good at that. It's either a slap upside the head, drilled you in the head, or just said, drop him or I'm dropping you.
Kevin, from your perspective as a teammate of Semenko's in the games like this, was there always that wink or the nod saying, hey, by the way, I'm doing my job, you have to do yours too?
Well, Sammy was a great person for me to come in as a young guy when I come into Edmonton, and showed me when to fight and when not to fight in the situations that I should arise and not arise at. But he always had my back. He definitely always had his teammates' back, but I felt I wasn't the biggest guy. I was only 192 pounds, but when he was on the ice with me, I was about 230 pounds. So it was a lot. Made my job a lot easier, that's for sure. And what a great teammate he was.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2 greatest playoff series I ever had witness to was 1986, where the guys in red won, and 1990, where the guys in blue won. 2 of the most memorable 7-game series in the history of the National Hockey League. 2 great witnesses to these teams: Tim Hunter, Mike Vernon, Lanny McDonald, Kevin McClelland, Dave Hunter, and Lee Fogolin in the Battle of Alberta.